mission statement.
It's our mission
Or
statement.
charge, long-term mission.
Yes. Yes, yes, some of it.
Your version of that.
So I sort of fought to keep it at 5, just because I think it's much harder to get people together when you get over up to 7 or 9. But if you have someone who's interested in coming and speaking and has an idea, by all means, I think that would be fantastic. And the idea wasn't to limit the participation, but just to make it easier for us to meet, actually establish meetings. So if this time is all right, we could meet the last Monday of the month at this time.
Fine with me.
And we'll roll like that month to month. And that way we can kind of go, okay, and then obviously Blizzard or something. That was what, I forget who mentioned that. If you would like to be so kind, I think I have your cell phone number. If you want to put your name and cell phone number down in case of like something that's going to make this not happen at the last minute, just maybe use the back of this one because it's extra.
And it might be nice to be able to reach out to each other anyway.
And either way, we'll just make sure everyone has all the
Email or
numbers, so that if something goes wrong, or something is going wrong, and you think something's gonna go wrong, we have a quick way, because I personally, as Rebecca will tell you, don't always check my email right before our meetings. I'm kind of racing out of work, I'm racing home, and then I do check my text and messages to see, just because my husband says, do you ever check your messages? So now I make a point to check them, to prove that I can do this.
Just be mindful that it's only arranging meeting times and not necessarily any deliberation.
Oh, okay, so official, so it's an official,
Got it? But saying to the group that you're not gonna be able to attend, or saying to the group that, that you will be there, but you'll be late, all acceptable, just.
no deliberating.
Right, saying to
Not
the
talking
group,
about the trash.
so-and-so wants to come tonight to talk about blah. I mean, we could we can, it's better if we post it, if someone's coming in for a specific topic.
Right.
Because if it's not on the agenda, it's difficult for us to say, we're gonna talk about this.
Okay.
So it's better, that we, and we can wait till the week before to post, to do that, so we can be open to ideas or things that people want. But we do need to have a chair, we can have a vice chair, and the secretary, I don't mind if we wanna just rotate, taking notes and doing that.
I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna do anything.
I don't wanna do
I wanna sit here and learn and help. That's all I wanna do.
help these notes.
I don't wanna be secretary. I don't
I
wanna
I
go
don't want to be secretary. This is like, I heard about this from other town boards, it's been catching disease. But I don't mind taking them every now and then. I don't mind if anybody else wants to pitch into it. What I was thinking to make, and I didn't do it for tonight yet, is just a form which would have all of our names on it. Just cross off who's not here.
Okay.
And put put the agenda on it and just put in what we did.
Okay.
And to me, that's the easiest thing. If you do
Okay.
it while we're here, even, So, I'll do it for tonight if you want. It's fine.
Being the secretary person?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could, Rebecca has her laptop, I can bring my laptop if you
Yeah.
want me to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Whatever. But whenever somebody doesn't want to do it, I mean, like
Okay.
Jim said,
Bring my laptop.
nobody ever checks the box and says, "Gee, I want to take notes every time we meet."
Never heard anybody say that.
I think what's important to note too is that
Yeah.
because all of the meetings are recorded,
Yeah.
and they are available for public review, that the meeting minutes don't need to necessarily be very detailed, so they could be very bulleted, discussed A,
Bulleted.
discussed
Voted
B.
on B.
Exactly.
Right.
The motions are the only crucial thing that is important to make sure is per word in terms of minute taking.
Right. And I
Cool.
think it's okay to pause a meeting and ask somebody to say it again to make sure that we got it right.
Noted.
So my thought, would be that typically I could take whatever the agenda is and make it into a writable form.
Okay.
So that would make it easy, so you know, put the stuff in as we go. I think right now we have to organize. Do you want me to be chair?
I don't have any experience being chair of a committee, although, I'm vice chair of the Conservation Commission, but I don't have any real duties as such, so. If you guys
Being
probably
vice
have the most
president,
experience, although Jan, I think, also, I don't know, I don't think I'm ready to be chair yet.
You kind of sort of volunteered,
I
didn't you?
did,
heard
yeah,
you.
I sort
Yeah,
of
I
did.
think you should do it.
Okay, so if
I like a motion, Kathy to be the chair.
Second.
Okay, just lost my. Wait a minute. Are you typing this or mine? I thought I typed for you.
I can do it
Are you sure?
just
She
this
does
once.
everything.
Just this once.
This one time for the record, let it show. I'm not gonna make you ever do this again.
That's how good she is.
I know, but I think she's does so much. Okay, and should we have a vice chair?
let's vote on motion to make.
Oh
it
yeah,
chair
let's
first.
vote all in favor of making Kathy chair.
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay, and how about a vice chair, which is I'm ready.
Are you into it, Jan?
Okay.
I motion that Jan Dempsey be vice chair of the trash recycling committee.
Second.
Second by Jim.
Aye.
We're gonna name Colby. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm
Okay. And secretary, we're gonna just informally let you do it for a while, but I don't mind you circulate around.
I'll bring my laptop next time.
Do you want us to nominate you then as secretary?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
let me be secretary, that's cool.
Motion,
That's easy.
the motion?
Okay.
Make a motion to make Stephanie the
That's what I'm looking for.
secretary, please.
Second.
Okay, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're done with that. The charge, did everybody get a chance to review the charge?
Where you feel tasks are going to be there.
Well, we have a short term, the trash recycling, in the short term, the responsibility to work with the town administrator in developing a program for solid waste and recycling collection services beyond 2026.
I understood that.
Yeah.
But how are we going to go about that?
Okay, well, I know that our town administrator is putting together as much information as possible, and we'll begin to present that as like a PowerPoint slide for information. We'll also get a hard copy, I would assume, of it as well for reference purposes.
For the contract or for the
No, the
presentation?
presentation,
Yeah, of
yes, of course. So, what you said in the beginning about becoming educated, that we all need to be on the same plateau. Like, I know Jim was on the committee, with the board with me when we ran it through the tonnage that went through the ceiling during the pandemic, and that was scary. It went,
Everybody was home.
yes, but if you touch it West Newbury, guess what went up in West Newbury?
Recycling.
Yes.
We need to do a better job.
I agree.
I mean, educating the public.
Well, we probably all do in the room, but after you put the word out, it doesn't necessarily happen. Because I know I recycle more than I do trash.
But we need everybody to.
But how do you
Yeah.
do that?
But you see, there's a big difference between Groveland and West Newbury, if you haven't noticed. West Newbury gives you 1 barrel for trash
Yeah,
and 1 barrel for recycle.
awesome.
That's
Great
it.
idea.
No more. If you want any more, you go to the local store and you buy the extra bags.
No, they have a drop off, I think. They have a transfer station, I thought.
Do they?
They have some kind of arrangement, but yeah, the overflow bags are an option, but I have to say, they haven't really caught on in Groveland. You don't see them that much.
How convenient is it to have both things right at the person's house?
Yes.
You can't beat that.
You can't, but the last time we looked into it, there was a cost. They don't give them away.
Right.
So that has to be taken into consideration.
Right.
If we want it to work, though, we got to work that out somehow. It's the only way to do it and do it easily for residents.
I agree. But for now, I think a lot that I see is lack of enforcement.
Well, that's
There's
what I
a
was
2-barrel
wondering.
limit.
Does anybody tag
And
people and leave it there? That's
no,
what I can't
Not that
we
I've
don't have the
seen.
resources, as far as I've been told,
Yeah.
to run around the neighborhoods.
No, I mean the trash people.
Expect.
so-
Well,
The
I don't
trash
wanna
people
put it on
don't
that
have
guy.
any incentive. I mean, when you think about it, what do they get paid for? They get paid
No,
for
I'm just
tonnage.
asking the question.
Yeah.
Not the
Right.
philosophy behind it,
Well,
but is there any
I think
enforcement
we
going
have
on
to
now?
ask,
That's
I
what
think
I'm
we'd have to
sure.
ask, the waste management, what it is they're doing right now. I mean, we can all say what we've observed, right?
Yes.
We've observed,
Mhm.
I've observed people piling the trash on the ground beside the can in bags, which we're not supposed to do. And I haven't seen it left there for days, so I assume it got picked up, I don't know.
But you don't really know, right,
I
exactly.
know
That's what I mean,
there've
the
been
facts and-
times when he's tagged like cardboard that's too big. There's a certain size when you break down your cardboard,
The recycle, yeah,
and
there's a
that
certain
I
size.
think they will tag. But I think the big thing is that we don't provide the right size. Maybe just the recycling bin. If the town could provide an appropriate size recycling bin. That-
Copy West Newbury. You're talking about a lot of aggravation for the town residents,
Yeah.
you're talking about a lot of aggravation for the trash company, you're talking about a lot of aggravation, who's gonna enforce it?
Right.
West Newbury solved it by having 2 containers. Figure out a company that would be willing to give us a good deal
Yeah.
and have 2 containers.
Well,
So
the
you
nice
wanna
thing
wait
about
2
those two
years?
is that they're covered.
Yes.
Yeah, I
The
love
recycling
that, those
is
little
covered.
recycling
And you
things.
can buy,
in the
we
winter,
bought one at
full of
Home
snow.
Depot. So
Yeah.
you can buy one that works with this trash company. But
Right.
I love the fact that you put it out and you have to think, oh, everything's soaking wet now.
Yeah.
Right. So the question I have is like we have 2 years on the contract.
Right.
So I mean we can work towards that, but in the shorter term, between now and then, we don't want to do anything. I mean we can ask about why they're not picking stuff up or if they are, but remember for every action there's a reaction. Right? So if you start leaving trash out, what do you think people are gonna do?
Well, the
They're
other,
gonna leave it there maybe. Then it's gonna be all over the road. Then everybody on the road will be calling the Board of Health or the town administrator. So it's like, we're kinda stuck except your idea to just start pushing the education about how important it is and how much the town saves. And that's what I was hoping we could get from Rebecca's presentation is an idea about what is the actual differential between the cost of tonnage for a ton of trash versus a ton of recycling. I know that even when you're recycling it costs less money, it's a lot less than $90 or so a ton you pay for trash. And it's better, we all know it's a better world for doing, I mean, there's that world peace thing, but seriously, honestly, I think we all kind of know that the landfills are fading
Full.
out. Yeah, they're
We
fading.
don't have any space in Massachusetts, it goes to
Right,
New Hampshire.
Right, so we're getting to the point where if we don't get proactive now, the state's gonna start stepping in saying you can't do this, you can't do that. And we could really get stuck with residents who aren't educated and trained into what else can I do so that I don't have all this stuff to throw out of it. You know, do we wanna look at the composting?
Yes. I think
don't
people,
they do that at the highway department already?
They do the yard, but not the food. Yeah, they're
But
not.
there again, you're making somebody leave their house, leave their property, and do something.
Well,
And then you're not
there
gonna
are
get the
services that
results
come
that
to your
West
house.
Newbury has.
Well, you also with composting, you can just do that yourself on your own
Right,
property.
right.
You don't
Right.
have to take it in, you don't have to
but
get
you
a
can
truck that
also
can pick it up.
bag it, and I believe there's services that will pick it up. Now, I don't know what it is.
it's called Black Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
In
and
Boston.
so
We've had conversations with them.
we could bring forward some information on that.
Okay.
Then we need another container.
I think they put it in bags and they kind of
They
So
give
know,
you
They provide the container.
everything, yeah, they give you everything.
The issue that we don't have them in place now is because there's not enough people who are interested in utilizing their services.
Which you have to pay.
So you have to pay.
You have
So we
pay
need
for
to
it.
find out what level of interest we need to make it worthwhile. Is
So
that
they
it?
have a list of people who have contacted them, but it hasn't hit that threshold as to whether or not they would consider allowing those services to be in the town.
So what is the level? Do we know?
It's
If we know.
like 80 people, isn't it?
Something of that nature.
Oh, okay. That
But,
doesn't
only
sound.
need
but
80.
just because people said they were interested doesn't mean they're gonna buy. Once they
Exactly.
see the price, that means they may not wanna do it.
And there's different levels of pickup, so you could do like a, a monthly or bi-weekly, or there's some different levels of service that you can elect as well. So you pay for the
Yeah.
initial barrel, and then you have to do the replacement bags, and then you have to figure out which pickup schedule you want to be on. That was what I remember we talked about.
Yeah.
I think the statistics of what history tells us, like I'm going to keep hammering on this, West Newbury statistics have told us all what it works.
Yep, and Haverhill's
Yeah,
on the same
I
program.
would want to copy somebody else's ideas and the way of doing things so it works.
Well, we could push the overflow bags in the short term. We could ask Waste Management to put a warning sticker out maybe if they have things piled in the top up like this. You've seen that, right?
My problem that I've heard, and it's in my own Board of Health, someone requested a large item pickup. It sat there for 2 weeks, and the last time I saw him, it was still there.
And we-
So, they need to do their job too. Us residents can do everything we want to help
But
ourselves.
they're
and stuff.
supposed to pick
But they
it up.
gotta do their job.
Right, because
And he paid for that extra, and they
Exactly.
didn't pick it up. Last thing I knew, my chairman,
That's bad.
yeah. Are they doing what the contract says they were supposed to do?
Yeah. So, yeah, the problem that I ran into when I tried to call Waste Management, I forget what I wanted to call them about, but
Heck, good luck.
yes, well, the problem is we don't have like our own number.
Right.
Because we're a municipal, I think when they do go into towns and people privately contract segment, you get a number. So you get to queue that in, you get to a person. We get into this queue, you could be talking to somebody in another state.
We
Oh,
did
really?
update that recently after
Yeah.
the chairman came forward and mentioned that he was having a hard time getting through in terms of the phone call. So now
Yeah.
you're able to go online and to register for bulk pickup. So you
Okay.
can go to the website, you can put in the information, and you can make the arrangements then.
The waste
They didn't
management
come.
website?
But they didn't come.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That would be
He didn't report that to
frustrating.
me. He just reported that other issue. So
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors why this isn't working, but historically, West Newbury's system is working. Copy it.
West Newbury also split their contracts. They have a recycling contract with one company.
Oh, they did?
Yes. The company that has their trucks by the coffee shop. I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
That's the recycling people, I believe. And I forget, do you know who is their trash? Was
Capital, is it Capital?
Capital?
Is yellow trucks? I'm not sure.
No, it's some with an R. I think those
Reliance?
was. What's that?
Reliant,
No, I
Public.
just see. It was like Carrot. They have two contracts because I've seen the contracts. It's two contracts. And so you don't have to go out to bid with one thing. You could bid both.
Okay. But they still, it behooves them also, though, because you're paying the company per ton for what they.
Right, but the
For people to reduce their trash via other avenues such as composting. Because that's one of the biggest heavyweight items in people's trash is food waste.
Yes.
Unfortunately. So
right.
getting that out of the waste stream and having it go back into the soil where it belongs
Yeah.
is a huge benefit to everybody and keeping it out of the landfill. Because
Just-
it also produces all kinds of methane.
Yeah. And you
So-
brought forward that thing through the library, right?
Yeah, we did a program, and
Right.
we can do another one. I think that
I
it'd be
think it was
helpful to do
excellent.
another program that maybe gets
About composting?
out Zoom. Well,
What was it about?
Keep Mass Beautiful. Did you
Yeah.
see that program?
No.
We talked a lot about trash, and
Yeah.
a lot about landfills, and a lot about ways to keep stuff out of the trash.
And it was a
biggest-
person?
It was a, yeah.
It was
Keep
great.
Massachusetts Beautiful,
That
but
was
it was
it.
all online, because I think it was still during COVID, I think.
But they said 35% of our waste is food. But 35%.
Does Black
My
Earth-
plate's always empty after every meal, so it's not me.
It's not you.
Does Black
Okay,
Earth
well,
compost
just take him off that one.
things besides plant food waste?
Yes, I believe
So they'll take meat waste,
I
for
believe
example?
so. I'm not 100% sure. But one of the things he kept saying, which I think is really true, there is no place all the way.
Right.
I'm just gonna throw it away. It's going somewhere.
Somewhere.
And
That's a
it's,
good
you
spot.
know, there is no such place as a, it doesn't
Right.
disappear. It's still a problem.
So one thought I had is that we could maybe make a pictures speak louder than a whole word, right? Make a picture of where we are, percentage of our tonnage that's recycling now, and where would we like to be? Reasonably. Look at, I know the state website has all the towns and the percentage of recycling. I know we're a little bit lower. And maybe we could
Lower
do
than what?
a percentage of our tonnage that is, if you add all of our tonnage together, and then you take just the percentage that's recycling, as a percentage of total tonnage,
Lower?
yeah, we're lower, yeah. I think we see that around, and we gave people the little tiny recycling bins, and that's why I keep coming back to,
Yeah.
if we could
Yeah.
ever get
I know, we
some
really-
bins for free,
I mean, just,
that would be
mean,
awesome.
For free. Yeah.
Free would be nice.
Free would be nice.
Anybody
Free would
wanting
be
to
a dream,
donate the
too.
full-size recycling?
How much are those a piece now for the?
Oh, Home Depot. A big trash can costs a bit, right?
Well, I bought them, like $60.
Yeah, they're
I
not
bought
cheap.
4 of them, but I think they're closer to 100 now.
Well, yeah, you go in, it's like, I gotta pay this for a trash can.
so we would
It's a
have to get
lot.
a grant, I guess, for those or something.
We just bought some.
Everyone looks at Rebecca.
Is that possible to get a grant?
Yeah.
For something like
That's
this?
what Lori and her team did previously for the bins that we had.
Oh, yes, we had a lot of those.
But there was only like a select amount of bins. I mean, it would make sense in communities that are more so moving towards the automatic trash pickup, with the
Right,
2 barrels being supplied by the hauler.
I'll second that.
Yeah, it just
so you
seems
wanna
like
wait for the hauler thing. Because what if you switch haulers though? You still keep the trash things, right?
I don't know. I think they own the barrel, but I'm not quite certain
Oh.
how it works out.
That's how that works?
Oh,
No,
Then
I
you-
think West Newbury bought theirs.
I'm saying in other communities, like Amesbury just switched over to this automatic system, and then now we've been supplied with 2 barrels. One is recycling, one is trash, and I believe they own them, and that's how they were able to negotiate their contract so that the barrels were free
Okay.
to the town and not an expense to the town. I'm not certain about that. I'd have to research it, but I know that you can negotiate in ways with that.
So
And-
that's something we want to think about.
yeah, to cut down the cost for sure.
Merrimack has a 10-year contract, they told me.
Years?
Yeah.
No, they have different, doesn't everybody do their own
No,
thing
I
there?
talked to Bob Sinaboli in finance. They negotiated, they got a 10-year contract.
Cause I thought they had people in Merrimack did pay as you throw, so they each,
They do have a pay as you throw.
My mom over there, she lives in Merrimack, she has the 2 containers, one for recycling.
so there's part of the town that's under the 10-year contract where you have a choice, maybe?
I don't understand. I just thought I'd go out and try and learn. I talked to other towns
Yeah, yeah.
about what they did and how they did it,
Yeah,
and got copies of their contracts.
oh, good,
So I
okay,
could learn and try to help the town.
yeah. Well, if
Yes.
we have copies of the contracts, we can scan them in.
Well, I have copies of the Groveland, and I got copies of West Newbury, and I got copies
Yeah,
of
I
Merrimack.
have Newberry's, and I'm Merrimack, so.
I did.
Cause I thought Merrimack offered more than one choice.
I don't know exactly, but I went in there, Bob Sinbaldi,
Yeah,
he
okay.
was there, and
Yeah.
I can't remember the lady's name, but she was a finance.
Oh,
And
Carol.
Carol McLean.
yeah,
Yeah,
she went to school with my younger brother. She said
Mm.
it was funny, but I did that. I was going to go to more towns even and learn
Yeah.
and see what they did and what's in their
Yeah.
contracts because I want to help. Like I said, I
Yeah.
want to help.
yeah.
That's all I'm here for. Is to
No, I
help.
know.
Can you share those contracts with us so we
Oh,
can
yeah.
help too?
Yeah,
Oh,
That'd be
yeah.
great.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
if
But I wanna
you
get
ask
more.
people about doing something,
Well,
changing
Yes, they
Last
are.
year?
I'll
So
take,
we're-
I'll look at what you have now.
Yeah. All right.
trash and recycling.
I'll make a
Stop.
copy of them and I'll bring them.
We're part of the same thing.
I'll bring them to Rebecca. So you can grab them from Rebecca.
And she can electronically distribute them to us.
All right.
So we're part of that, I forget the committee, what it's called, but we're part of that group. So we're part of all of the communities that are looking at their trash right now. So,
Oh, you're right.
so I forget what it is.
Oh, I do too.
But it's been a great
It's like a
resource.
conglomerate.
Gail, the woman that we've been working with on other matters with the
Right.
hazardous house waste,
I know.
house waste, hazardous, whatever.
Household hazards.
Thank you. Has been leading the charge with those over at Mass DEP.
Okay.
So it's been really beneficial because they're sharing the contracts, so it's like a database, it's like a one-stop shop, like you can get over in Methuen, Lawrence, Naval, anybody who has theirs available, it's now available on that website that they have with all the additional data that they've been collecting. they have sample RFPs, they have other contracts to consider for other communities, take a look at what has been working for them, what has not been working for them. So that group is gonna be really crucial.
That's
in
like
getting
SDEP,
information.
you said?
No, it's, you've been sending me, the girl is, I forget her name now. She's been emailing this stuff to me because you put this on the list. It's taking the time. Let's see, I might have put it in the trash folder already. I knew it was trashy stuff. I will find it. But yeah, so they've been looping us in on all the emails, so we can start. Well, we can do a couple of things. We could make a site like we did for the Chapter 70 committee and just put everything on the site. And that way you don't have to have it on your email.
Okay.
And that way it would sit on the Outlook site, like all the documents.
Okay.
That would work, right?
They can create a OneDrive file and they can put it on the website. So anybody who's looking for the data can access the data.
Yeah, that'd be easy, because I know if you get too much email, I don't know about you, but I get like Barry.
The
Perfect.
other point I wanted to make too, I mean, the bags, the overflow bags are a nice idea, but you gotta think about it. This guy's got a truck that
I
comes
know.
up, and
Yeah.
picks up the barrel.
Right,
He doesn't have to get out of the truck, but now there's bags there.
and he does.
He's gotta get out.
Yes.
Right, and I'll give you a second drawback, they're not thick.
Yeah,
So I tend to have to put them already in another bag and then in the overflow bag the few times I've used them, because they're really thin. And I worry that the animals will get it, even if it's just out there for a little bit. We've got like a turkey kingdom on our street.
Yeah.
And,
So we're creating more labor intensive
Yes, we
pickups
are.
for our company that we
Exactly.
use. So they're gonna,
But this is the short run here.
I know, cause we have to
So-
deal with two
so-
more years of what we
So
currently have.
we've gotta think about,
Just to
what do
deal
we
with-
want people to do? That's, I guess, the question, maybe that's for the next week. What do we want everybody to do with their overflow from now to the next
We
contract?
can only make suggestions, they have to do it themselves.
Yes, they do, but I
Well-
mean, what if we don't?
We
then-
should. The other thing I wanna make a point about too, kids. Kids, my grandkids get on me, cause they were living with me for a while.
Yeah,
Papa, we gotta recycle that.
they are good, yeah.
We gotta get after the kids.
Yeah, maybe we could do some school programs.
Yeah,
Because they're educating them on a lot of things now, currently, going
Yeah.
forward, but if they're taught when they're young, when they're older, they'll do it
it's
automatically.
automatically, yeah. So maybe we need to make like some pictures that, the trash can lid has to close,
Like a brochure, like can we make design a little brochure that says,
These things are recyclable, kids.
why is it important? I mean, we have Mass Recycle so I should have brought some of that today, it didn't occur to me. Mass Recycles has some really good information on what you can recycle. If you follow them on social media like Instagram, they'll have like little quizzes. Do you think this is recyclable? What do you think? So what if maybe we could design a little brochure and use them as like a resource?
The young and old.
Yeah, just easy to read. I mean, anything that you hand out to the public is supposed to be in 5th grade reading comprehension anyway, right?
right? So we can look up, like on the DEP will have I believe that's where I first saw the ratings, like how much percentage of recycling. You can see us up there, I think.
Okay.
You should be able to see that.
I
compared
remember
to
when
other
we used to do it out behind.
That was good.
I helped with that. That was,
Did you? I remember doing
I
that.
remember doing that.
People were very involved when we first started recycling here. They all drove down.
Right.
We had all these volunteers sorting the
Right.
different things we were allowed to
Yeah.
bring down. You're one of them, okay. I just
Yeah.
remember it being,
When
everybody
it's
was
on a fun
gung ho.
time, way back in the 90s. wasn't it?
I don't know what prompted it, but we brought like cardboard,
Yeah, really good, yeah.
cans.
They
Wow.
had metal, white
The
metal.
funniest part was the laundry detergent, because so many of them, there was still laundry detergent.
Oh.
People would take it home and finish off the bottle.
Wait a minute.
There's still so many.
Take all that and fill one up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was only 2 hours, wasn't it, in the morning?
I don't remember. It was too long ago for my mind to remember that. That was fun.
It was just a couple hours on a Saturday morning, if I remember right. Yeah.
Those were the days when
Well, they were-
recycle was actually worth something.
We
Now-
were getting money for it for
Now
sure.
you got money for it.
Right.
The times have changed dramatically. You now pay for recycling used to be a source of income, now it's a cost.
Well, we didn't that
It's
come
a
up as
lesser cost.
something on the ballot like last year, the year before, about should we increase recycling return, or did they vote on it? Maybe that's what it was. Didn't they? They were going to increase it from a nickel a bottle or something to.
Oh, you think they're gonna do the bottle thing more? I don't know.
But, I mean, maybe we should lobby them to do that.
Right, I think
I mean,
it's
we
just,
could think about what could we change about like the state law. Can we ask for an increase in some of the returnables?
You probably
Except-
could, but by the time it got through Congress in Beacon Hill,
yeah,
got signed by a governor, got back to the towns, all of us grandchildren would be sitting here instead.
but I think it's.
I think we need to
what Jim
focus
said,
on what
once
we
you
can do here in
develop the
Groveland
habits.
today in the short term.
Habits.
They're all great ideas for the
And
long
it's
term,
easier,
tomorrow,
right?
but
Oh,
none of those are
absolutely.
gonna help
It's
us
easier.
today. The 2 bins, you're 2 years away from renegotiating a contract with somebody that may give us the containers for free. So we've gotta think about today, and the
I
biggest
don't
problem
wanna
I
say
find out
may,
today.
I wanna say will.
Well,
That's-
the biggest problem I see today is you have a 2-barrel limit that is not being enforced, and it's not really enforceable.
Yeah.
Okay,
Why?
because the folks that really, we don't have the resources to send out around town to tag people. And when you think about it, what's their incentive? They get to charge us by the ton.
Right.
So whether it's, the more they pick up, the more cost they get to
Yeah, well,
spend, right? Or pass off to the consumer, which is us. So there is absolutely zero incentive from a profit point of view, if I run the company, to say, don't pick that up, leave that there, and charge them by the ton. Everything they drop, throw it in the truck. If you can fit it, throw it in the truck, because when you get to the cartage station to dump it off, well, we get weighed. And
Yeah.
the difference
Yeah.
is,
How am I, as a resident, gonna produce less trash? How am I gonna do that?
well, there's many ways. And some of the ways
I
we
don't
just
see how,
mentioned,
because I'm recycling.
composting,
Composting is the only thing I can
Yeah.
possibly do.
It's
It's-
My
it's
daughter
one
does that.
But can we do more recycling?
Yes.
Yes, but that's another thing, like he said, our
No, but-
No,
grandchildren.
Maine passed a thing. Maine passed a thing 2 years ago. I'd like to find out how that's going. And the people who put things in plastic have to have a way of taking the plastic back. So it's supposed to be a way of forcing less packaging.
You're going way too big out and
I
around.
don't think so.
We gotta
I think
stay
we have to-
woke.
But even when you're in the grocery store, you do have choices.
That's
you
what
could
this
bring
is-
your own
example-
bags in.
This is why I
But
think
also things like
brochures.
laundry detergent again,
Right.
now they have laundry sheets come in a cardboard container. You don't even have to buy that big huge plastic jug anymore, which is a huge thing because you don't even know if that plastic really.
How does
is
that other
properly-
stuff
I
work
think
for
it's
you?
recyclable.
Yeah,
It's
No,
not
but
recyclable.
even with the plastics now, they're saying the
Yeah, I
whole
think-
market for recycled plastic. You didn't have to create that plastic bottle to begin
But-
with if you didn't have.
But
to
I also
buy
think
it.
that someone like you do is, from what we saw during the
For the
pandemic,
choice.
where everybody went with all the delivery services, that's when everybody discovered every delivery service that they're now still probably using. I know I am. We all found Amazon, DoorDash, all that, right? And you develop habits.
Oh, yeah.
You develop habits. You have the
These
right.
two ladies have some really good habits.
Right, and so do you, but let's assume that perhaps the entire town doesn't understand how important it is, because the one thing I think that's maybe common knowledge is that you don't make money with recycling anymore, like we did when we first started. But what they maybe don't understand is the cost of the sending it to the other place is a lot higher, both monetarily and in the longer run, because sooner or later they're going to have to do something. We can't continue to just all throw everything in the trash because we don't feel like it. There are homes, I'm sure if you took time and drove around the whole town, that would only have a tiny bit of recycling now, or maybe none.
Right, that's my neighborhood. No
And-
recycling now.
And
Yes.
it's just a matter of, okay, what can we get them to do now? What
That's
can we
right.
tell them to use? Do you have an empty trash can you could use? Mark it. My husband just spray painted recycle on it.
That's what we did too. Yes.
know.
So can't we make like a door hanger with like just the facts, and we can make, and then like I personally like have been a door knocker for various things in the past. Like I'm happy to go out and be like, oh, that person doesn't have any recycling up. I'm gonna go put a little door hanger. On the door. I'd love to do that if it means that we would
Do we
reduce
have
our
a
tonnage.
budget to do stuff like that? Do we have any money?
We just passed a $1.25 million override. You think we got money?
All right.
Well,
Can we get a grant for something like that too, like for a trash reduction project?
there might be something to look into, like for incentives. You know,
Like
to
the
help us-
recycle dividend project, like
Yeah.
things like that, where we get money because we're working towards being more environmentally friendly with our
Right.
trash, so.
So we find out where we are now in recycling, we set a reasonable goal, then we ask them to give us money. To make it
So
We have
for
basically,
education.
what do you guys feel was wrong in the town with the current contract, or we need to correct the new contract?
Exactly what you said. I mean, the minute that I had to go to the overflow bags, and then you start to think about it, and then you start to think about that everybody has different sized trash cans. So if you're not putting out a trash can, how many white bags can you put out? If you're not putting out white bags, how many green bags? It's too many different scenarios. And this trash, the guy picking up the trash isn't going to stop and say, well, that's 64. Okay, I can pick that up. He's going to pick it up, basically. Unless somebody puts out stuff that is obviously too heavy,
Well, like a
or
mattress or
dangerous.
something,
yeah,
Mhm.
he's going to pick it up. So we have to, in the short term, I think, set some goals to just start educating and say to people, if you can help us move towards more recycling now, so much the better, because it does save us money. We pay, I want to think about $90 a ton for trash and $30 a ton for recycling. Maybe was it vacillates between, depending on they do like a commodities
Well, the
market.
thing is too, there's places where, like Staples, they take so much stuff, so much recycling that
Okay.
you can't put in, that you shouldn't be putting in your trash.
Well, that's another good thing.
And recently they added like coffee pot breaks, they take it to Staples and recycle it. There's a huge list on their website of things that they'll do.
That's excellent.
And I was wondering, is there any way that
Yeah.
some of these, just little things we could push out on the Facebook page or something, Rebecca, if I,
She sent me a
I had
flyer,
some of
I'll
those
put it
things.
out there.
okay.
And Rebecca got the linen, I forgot they're called linen and whatever bins, right? What are those? Was it you or was it the Board of Health that got it? Was it
For the
you?
cloth,
Oh, for the
because
cloth.
you can't throw it
Cloth.
away.
Yeah, cloth.
No, we have
So-
it right there.
Yeah.
Right, we have a few of those around town. So if you have stuff that's not worthy of being donated, or you don't want
Well, now Staples even takes the batteries.
they
They
do.
only take the rechargeables to Home Depot, they only take rechargeables, but Staples will take the regular AA.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, so that, if people are aware of that, because everybody passes by Staples at one point, or
Yep,
just
there's
put a
another
box of
goes
stuff
around.
in your car,
Yeah,
but then it doesn't go in the waste stream.
yeah,
So, I mean, I'm just amazed at how much they take
that
electronic
is something.
stuff. It really is.
Maybe they're gonna turn into a recycle center and make more.
And the returns, they have the whole thing for returns now.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but I mean, it's just.
So it sounds like we can get a list of a lot of information for people.
I think we're
But-
stuck for the next 2 years.
Well, I think we could show them like a little temperature stick and compare us to some neighbor towns maybe and say, can we do a little better? Can we do
Mhm.
a little
You
better?
get the monthly report, right, on how
Yes.
much.
Yep, we do.
So we could actually see if we can make a difference.
Yes.
Like have an incentive thing.
Right.
Can we make a difference next
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Can we make a difference? Yeah, that's a good way to put
I
it.
like that.
It's positive.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Can we make a difference?
I'm hopeful.
Yeah, and some of it's pretty.
Christmas
pretty
season,
simple.
time for miracles.
Yeah, put a dollar figure to the goal and put a little thermometer there, and each month come to track it.
I think
Say,
that
this
would
is
be
how
good.
much, our goal is to save X over the course of the next 2 years over our monthly trash bill,
And it's only gonna
by
be
doing
costing
so,
us
so,
more
and
and
track it as we go.
There's no way around it.
Yeah,
Make it a
trash
game
is a
contest.
losing proposition.
Absolutely.
But going to the certain size barrel, that's it, then that's it. Because I understand in Haverhill, if you pile it like this, they just don't pick it up, believe it. The top has to close.
Right.
But here, with what we started with was whatever people had in the garage. It's very hard to start telling them, don't pick up that person's, you know.
We were one of the last towns in Massachusetts to have 0 limits on how much you could throw out. Which that had to be addressed, and we addressed it by trying to say
Right.
2 barrels, unlimited recycle. But again, you know, unintended consequence of that action is you can't look realistically enforce it anyway, and you can't expect the folks who are making money on it to enforce themselves.
Yeah.
It's not.
I didn't think of it that way, but yeah.
Talk about like winning the trash war.
Right, really, really.
We want to be on the
Well,
winning
we
side
had-
of the trash world. We
had
don't want to be
30
there.
30 carloads from Groveland come to household hazardous waste day.
What's it say?
The household hazardous waste day
Oh,
that
good.
we did with Western
Okay,
Garden.
so we did get people
We
up
had
and
30.
on. Okay.
30, which is good for the first time we've done it. It's word alone.
So we maybe need more of those days to get
I
them
know,
down.
so
we have
Can we
to
do
pay
those
for
twice
those
a
too.
year?
So
Well, they
that's-
can still go, because we're part of that reciprocal arrangement now.
Right,
The Groveland resident can go to the other
okay,
hazardous waste days in other communities.
good.
But it's
But
still an
this-
ongoing expense. Every time they hold one, we have to pay.
In West Newbury,
And I thought any of the different areas.
The town pays and the individual
The
pays.
town has to pay some, and the individual has to pay some.
Yeah.
But it's the only way there is to keep the stuff from going where it shouldn't go.
Right, and when it gets into the trash, we get fined, right?
Well, if it goes into the recycling, we have to go through a whole process of the contaminated recycling, which then decreases our tonnage,
Yeah.
decreases our
Yeah.
our
We
rebate.
get in trouble. So we maybe need to educate people on that too, the contaminated.
And
Recycling.
just, they have that free cycle where, say you bought a gallon of paint and you realize you don't want to color. Or you can actually put stuff like that out. I have, people swap stuff around, which is kind of cool.
Okay,
too.
I don't want this paint, do you want
Yeah, it's usually for things
Does
like
look good in your
furniture and
kitchen?
stuff.
it?
Like, or you just
It
buy
happens.
a
No,
quart,
you're
don't
right.
buy a gallon.
You're right, it
Put
happens
in.
though, these things happen.
It happens.
People
It's
are
not
like,
what somebody's
I don't want this paint, I hate it.
But most of the people that came through inherited the stuff they were
Oh,
bringing. Either they bought the house and everything was there, or
Yeah.
somebody passed on.
right.
And
They left the house behind, yeah.
So, it's a problem to get rid of this stuff.
Okay, so we want to start some PR, when we want to educate people on the contaminated recycling, there's a cost involved. And we want to educate people on, let's try, can we make that difference? Can we do better than we're doing now?
To Stephanie's point, everything's wrapped in plastic. I just came back from a trip in Nova Scotia, and the whole province is eco-friendly. The spoons and knives are made of paper, right? Here's the ironic thing. The paper straw came wrapped in, what do you think?
Plastic.
Yeah, but was it
I
real
mean-
plastic or was it cornstarch-based plastic? Makes a difference.
It felt like plastic to us, you know what I mean?
Well, do you want to hear this?
But here's the thing. What did you do with that piece of plastic? Most people take the plastic off the cardboard thing, right? And they throw it in the trash.
Yeah,
They don't say, it's recyclable, put it in the recycle. It's a habit. It becomes
well, some of the
unconscious.
plastic isn't recyclable. If it's stretchy, it's not recyclable because it catches on the machines.
Yeah, but most of that stuff is very
But
stiff.
Do you know,
It's
at
the
Europe,
kind of
at a
packaging
concerts
plastic.
and big venues, you get a cup. That's the cup you use. You don't chuck it.
We,
Yeah. Think about that. Games, sports, everything. There's your cup.
Or you
all
bring your
that.
cup with you.
No, they give you buy the cup with the first,
No, I understand, but I mean, a lot of
but
places
you don't
can
chuck
bring
it
your
out.
cup.
You keep it.
Mhm.
So they don't have a trash can full of red plastic cups at the end of the day. It's different.
I mean, I think one of the attitudes they're fighting too is I pay my taxes, I should be able to throw away whatever trash I want to. I mean, I see that attitude all over the place, and so I guess that's one of the things we might be battling a little bit.
Oh, for sure. I remember we had a meeting where a gentleman thought it was, a waste of money to put money into schools, but not trash. It was just kind of a crazy kind of analogy and argument. you know, there's that mindset that, yeah, you're right, I pay enough taxes in this town, they should come here and take everything I put
Right,
out. And
right.
no questions asked, I don't care if I put out a bomb, you know, they should send somebody to defuse it first and then take it away.
But I think could say, if you kind of started to gather the information that you've seen what's happening with mattresses. Little by little,
Oh,
things that you used to be able to get rid of, you're not going to be able to get rid of. So you might as well smarten up now and start to figure out, you know, what can we do to be more proactive and not be slammed reactively with fines and all of a sudden they won't pick this up. You know, behavioral landfill, and most people don't remember, but we ended up having to pay part of the lawsuit on that because one of our haulers brought the trash there because that got contaminated. Everybody who had brought trash there got fined. It was bad.
So
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the time.
Yep,
So
so
for
we should
next
wrap up.
visit,
Yeah.
can we put together a list of resources and maybe start with what we think is most, like maybe start with like some graphics that we like. Like I like the graphic of where are we and where do we want to be.
Yes.
I like the can we make a difference, like trying to like drive a hopeful
That's
attitude, and then maybe bring some of those graphics and resources together, and maybe start making a resource list for the website.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I know Rebecca has a massive PowerPoint, so
Yeah, right
whenever
now-
you're ready to.
Yeah, not yet. It's
Okay.
18 pages right now, but it's just getting into the contract to let it break it down to see exactly what the contract is, what we've negotiated, what we're looking at, what we're estimating for tonnage. Some of the spreadsheet that we just saw right there, and some other information. So it talks about blended values, how that's all calculated in terms of like you said, if there's a contamination, how much of that blend is contaminated, and then how much does that get per the charge, and then the rebate and how that's calculated, and then the cost that's currently in effect for the different types of recyclables, whether it's metal, whether it's cardboard, whether it has that percentage value of the contract. So it just has a bunch of information. So I still need to kind of just continue to throw data at it until we can then just piece it apart into different areas. Just because there's so many moving pieces.
How can we get that to every house in Bolton?
Through this,
Well, on the website.
Well, I thought too, to just because it's so much information, we might be able to chunk it.
Yeah.
You know, like take a chunk in one meeting, have Rebecca show it up on the screen, go over it,
Yeah.
push it out.
Okay.
And then maybe save that as a video on the website or a link so that people can go to it on YouTube and see it whenever they want.
Okay.
And then, because if you give them everything at once, my fear would be overload. And
I love lists though. I love a list. I write myself a list
Right.
every night before I go to bed.
I
What I
would-
want to accomplish tomorrow. But if I have a list, it'll be helpful for me.
I mean, and I like the idea of getting all the information from the other towns. Can we
Right,
have
so I
that
wrote that down,
for
the
next time, too?
website
Okay.
with the contracts on it, that's
Okay.
what Rebecca said you could set up, so you get the.
I only got
contracts.
2. I wanted to get more.
That's good, though.
So we have, it's called the Best Practices for Hauling Contracts Working Group. And so they have like a municipal contract comparison of FY24 data, and that's the data that we submit for the RDP grant, where we have to put in how many the population, how many services, how many households are serviced, if we do Christmas tree pickup, if we do composting, if we do bulk waste pickup. So they gather all that data and they put it into a spreadsheet, which is right here, and it gives that information that was submitted to Mass DEP. So it gives you a fair comparison considering, square miles, what you have. I mean, Boxford is not very large compared to Groveland, so they might have less, but they have more land area, and what their current collection contract is and their cost per tonnage, et cetera. So we have a lot of data that's already readily available to us that we can tap into. It's just
Okay,
about
cool.
kind of refining that and figuring out exactly what
So
we
then
want
we
to be
know
looking at.
what maybe some options
It's so
are.
much data, that's the problem, when you get into these big spreadsheets.
Yeah, but so
We
the
wanna
spreadsheets.
To present it to the public, we wanna bring it in to what do we want them to,
Yeah.
focus on.
Yes.
yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
It's our job to
it's
parse
okay
that.
for us to see everything, but if you try to put this kind of, I've seen the ones on the DV, they're so large, and there's so many columns, you just go like.
I'm going to say it again. 2 containers in everybody's house is
I
It'll
think
make
that's perfect.
everything a lot
For
easier.
sure.
for
I
everybody.
agree 1,000%, but
Somehow we gotta get that somehow.
it's, even with those 2 containers, we have to get our trash output down,
Right.
you know? Our landfill space is full.
Well, I think the
So-
composting is really the thing. I think that that's something that we've got to just keep looking at from all different ways and figure out what we can do. We might be surprised at what we could come up with.
Yeah.
You know, what do you need to be able to do a composting program? Maybe we do need to bring in an outside party, but maybe we don't. I don't know.
I just remember when I was a little kid in Andover,
Yeah.
we had the thing in the ground
Oh, yeah.
with the metal lid on
Yeah,
it,
good luck.
with a bucket in there. And the garbage guy would come, it must have been a guy that had pigs or something.
Yeah.
And he'd come to every house, take that thing and go feed his pigs with it.
Yeah.
I remember, just
There's
remember
statutory
that.
requirements.
I don't
That's
think
so
we have a
interesting,
pig
like,
farm.
there's like
But,
But
yeah.
for this particular contract,
Yeah.
it's in the,
Yeah.
last
Okay,
year, the
we're gonna
contract
call it.
with enough to get
Motion to
everything in
adjourn.
place so that we
Okay.
would.
Motion to adjourn.
So 12 months.
I'll second it.
Motion to adjourn was made at 6:20.
Uh,
Second it? Is it
no,
okay
because I
to
just
adjourn?
want to bring up
One thing, go ahead.
I think this committee should really, we have 12 months. In the next 12 months, I think this committee should really focus on what our short-term goals
Yes.
and what we can do
Yes.
in the short term. After that, the negotiations would begin, the RFQs would go out for requests of quote for other vendors.
Yep.
And then we can begin to shift our
Okay.
focus on long-term goals, looking into a new contract and what we can do. But I
Okay.
think in the short term, for the next 12 months, what can we do today?
Well,
Agreed.
that's what we're
Agreed.
talking about, making a
Agreed.
list,
Yeah.
publishing some information.
I thought we were only, I was only approved till June 20.
Yeah, but if we keep going,
Oh,
we'll just get more.
all right.
It's always
You've been
like a
around,
warning.
once you get on these committees, they
That's
never
all
let
right.
you off. They
That's
lock
Not
you
all
in.
right.
forever,
I love
but I
that.
thought
That's why I
we
love being on the
You're
board of
done.
health.
have
Love it.
2 years
Open.
in this whole thing.
All right.
Till
Okay,
the
so I'll
next
second the
one.
motion to adjourn at
6:23.
6:23.
All right.
Second.
Who made the motion?
I did.
And-
Oh, you just me.
Okay, all in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
All right.
Okay,
You guys, this is so
Thank
much
you so
awesome. I love it.